Check audio. All right, I think everything's working. I think. Yep, I hear the audio coming through. So that's a good thing. Now all I'm going to do is wait for some people to come in and start watching. Hopefully I'll get some. Be sure and say hey in the chat so I know you're here. I'm just going to sit here for a few minutes. Now there's 2 people watching. Be sure and say hello in the chat so I know who's here. Chris Hope, good evening, sir. How are you, my friend? Good to see you. Glad you made it in. I got to do some work on this camera angle. I set that camera in that spot as the last minute. I used to have it over here on my left side, but tonight if I actually do any work, I'm going to need my vise, and it was blocking my vise, so I had to move the camera tripod to a different location. So I'm not sure where I'm going to put it yet. I don't know if I want it shining over my shoulder or shining in from the end. I don't know what's going to be best, but this right here is my Gooseneck trailer, and it's my trailer, and I don't have any loading ramps. So I went into CAD and I designed some loading ramps, and basically I have to add a cross member at the 300 millimeter mark from the end of the trailer, which will be up here somewhere, and then I have to build the ramps and mount them, and then mount the actuator that will be hooked to the radio control on the truck that will actually make the ramps operate from the radio control. So I don't have to manually, lower and raise the ramps. I just hit a button and they'll go up and down. So that's what I'm going to start working on. Hey, Brandon, good to see you in here, man. Going good. Mr. Casey, welcome. There we go. That took care of that. And Bob Casey and Chris Hope. Brandon Bedwell, he's one of my RC crawling friends. He's over in Arkansas. And Brandon, Bob, and Chris, they're friends from my drone world, from my drone channel. So, yeah, everybody knows everybody now. But I figured I'd just sit around and shoot the breeze and wait a minute to see if I get too many people in or not enough people or whatever. Bob, I use T-Mobile internet, and I'm streaming with StreamYards on my laptop. And I'm using my laptop on the Wi-Fi side of the T-Mobile router, so T-Mobile does a pretty good job out here where I'm at. But welcome to my Workbench Wednesday live stream. I need to see if I can go into StreamYards here. And it's doing good, thank you. Let's see. Banners. Create a banner. Let's try this out. Scroll across the bottom like a ticker. Add banner. Show. Well, looky there. I did it. Don't I feel special now? Bob's RC, welcome, brother. How you doing, man? Glad you could make it in. Starlink is really expensive, Bob. This T-Mobile gives me unlimited use for $50 a month. I mean, you can't beat that. If T-Mobile has coverage in your area, they cover my area, but believe it or not, at my friend's house over in Fort Smith, it says it's not available. And that don't make sense. It's in a city. It's in a pretty good sized town. So I know T-Mobile is available there. So it just doesn't make any sense that the internet won't work there. I don't believe it for a minute. What you up to there, Bob's RC? I am talking about working on my Gooseneck trailer tonight. I don't know how much work versus talking is going to happen. Yeah, I know, right, Brandon? Exactly. So here's a drawing I drew up in CAD. This represents the back portion of the trailer, the last 300 millimeters. And I have no ramps, no loading ramps on the back of the trailer. It's just, if I can lift it up here, there's just nothing there. So I decided I wanted to build some loading ramps for it. And my motto at MKRC Builds is make it move. Things have to move. I like to make things move. So I'm going to use a 12-volt linear actuator as like a hydraulic cylinder, basically. And I'll put a cross member in this trailer at the 300 millimeter mark, which is just about the middle of the axles here. I'll add that cross member there. And then I'll add the cylinder, but I have to build the ramps and build the hinge plate and everything for them. And they'll be 20 millimeters in from each side of the trailer. They'll be 170 millimeters apart, and they'll be 30 millimeters wide. The whole trailer is, I think, 270 wide, 270 millimeters wide, if I remember. So working on your trail truck and came across my stream and gave me a, well, I appreciate that, man. there'll be, I think, 115 or something, or 170 millimeters between them, and then 50 on each side is 270 total across, minus 20 on each side for inset, and they'll be 150 millimeters long. And I'll build all that out of aluminum, and then this center part I'm going to cover with wire mesh, and that came in. So I got some wire mesh that I'm going to put in the ramp plates, ramps, whatever you want to call them. And that way, so I'll have an outside frame, and then I'll have, I assume there's something inside here. Oh yeah. Oh, ain't that pretty? I'll put this wire mesh inside the ramps, and that's what the ramp will be made of, that and aluminum parts for, like the trailer's built out of. Oh, they scrapped that idea. That sucks. Yeah, I'm happy with this T-Mobile thing, Bob. It does a good job, and it works well, and they run off of AT&T towers. So if you're close to an AT&T tower, you ought to be good to go, because they run off AT&T towers. How many people we got watching now? 7? You guys need to hit that thumbs up button. Okay, Bob. Thanks for stopping in. Good luck to the Wildcats. So I think this wire mesh will look really nice for ramp material. It's got kind of weird cuts on it, makes it look sparkly, makes it look party. But this is the diagram of what I'm going to add to the back end of the trailer for the ramps. I always draw stuff up on CAD. Hey, Possum. I always draw stuff up on CAD before I start working on it to make sure that it's going to do what I need it to do. And one of my other projects, if you look at some of my other videos, I've got a Sen Racing F450 truck that I made lift and drop by radio control, and I had to get some different servos. Those came in today. So, Brandon, I ordered the 25 kilogram servos. They sent me 35s. Man, I love that. Dang. How cool is that, huh? That's the first time I've opened the box. So that's a bonus. So the red F450 is going to get 4 35-kilogram servos in it. How cool is that? Oh, did you? You saw that happening to somebody, huh? All right. Well, it happened to me too. I can live with it. Won't hurt my feelings one little bit. Not one little bit. Well, shall I get some aluminum and start cutting? Start making something? I should probably do that. Got a bunch of different stock and inventory here. I need more light. Let me turn that light on. Maybe that'll help me out a little bit. I need more coffee. Man, I tell you what, it's been cold here. Been bad cold. Yesterday we broke 2 records. Broke 2 records yesterday. Lowest high temperature and the lowest low for last night. In the past, it was -6. Last night, they recorded -9 at the Jackson, Tennessee airport over there, local airport. That broke the record of -6 for the overnight low. A 42-year record that was. It broke last night. So yeah, when I got up at 5 this morning, it was -5 at my house. So yeah, that's pretty crazy, if you ask me. Okay, what do I want to use? I think I want to use this stuff for mounting the hinge plate because that'll fit right in there like that. So I think that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to make that the front and back of the ramp, and I'm going to make this the sides of the ramp. So this piece, I got to cut 2 of these 150 millimeters long. Well, 148 really, because once I put an end cap on them, it'll be 150. I moved my stuff off my little stand so I could put my laptop there. And I forgot to bring my stuff back over where I use it. That wasn't very smart, now was it? All right. 150 millimeters. to be right about there. So I'm going to put a piece of tape right here. Measure this down 150, make a mark. Like that. Oh, rats, rats, and double rats. My square's out in the other shop. That's all right. I'll fake it. I'll fake it and make it. Everything I build, all these trailers and everything I build, everything is hand cut. Everything is hand worked. Occasionally, I cut parts on the CNC machine. That would turn out to be a pretty good cut, actually. I made some control arms and stuff like that on the CNC machine. Not control arms, some shock mounts. Sent a set of those to my buddy Brandon over in Arkansas. Front shock mounts for an SCX-10. I made a set for me for the rear of my SCX-10. So yeah, 150. We'll be right about there. How many people we got watching now? 6. Down to 6. Gonna pick up your servo tomorrow. That'd be cool. Measure this one out to 150 millimeters. Cut it off. Keep taking a look at chat. Just making sure I keep up with everything just in case somebody wants to say something. I don't know how exciting this kind of stuff's going to be, watching me sit and build stuff. So you guys that are watching, tell me what you think. Would you rather see me sit and build, or would you rather see a montage type video or a presentation of the build as I do it, as I'm, like make a video and then play the video and run it on a live stream like this? They call it a premiere. Or would you rather I sit and explain the parts I'm cutting and the parts I'm making and have a diagram of have a diagram to show of what I want it to look like when it's done, and so on and so forth. What would you all rather see? Leave me in the comments what you think there. I need to make 2 ramps, and they're both going to be 150 millimeters long, so I need 4 of these parts. I'm going to cut all 4 of them now. What would you rather see? See the build as it goes, or watch a video of it afterwards? What would you rather have a chance to watch? I thought doing the build part live might be a good idea, because then if someone was watching and had a question, they could type the question in the chat and I would be able to answer it right then. But that all depends on how people want to see this go. You want to actually sit and watch me building stuff? The mad scientist is losing his stuff already. He hadn't even got started yet. And I'm going to use this stuff here for one more part, and to make a cross member that needs to get fastened into the frame on this trailer. And it's going to be right about here. About like so. And then need to take off about that much on each end. Right about there. Nobody left? Everybody gone? What's happening? 2 people watching, 3 people. What do we got here? I guess from here I can't see who's in the chat. Still nobody doing any more chatting. Now it's time for the handwork. And I do this on every single trailer I build. You can see where I cut those sides off. There's a little square in the middle. Well, that little square is actually rough. It's a rough edge where I cut the sides. So I file that down until it's smooth. And then it fits in the intended location much, much better. See, like that, I file it until it's just starting to smooth out. And then I stop because that's enough. That's all you need. Then I take the burrs off the edges. Nice and smooth, no sharp edges. Everything works good that way. Because what I'm going to do is these little tabs, I don't know if the camera will pick this up. Maybe it will up here. These little tabs are going to fit under that wood and inside right here where it'll get a rivet put in down here where it's going to live. So yeah, kind of important that it is smooth and clean and will slide in underneath there. One of the nice things about working with aluminum is it's plenty soft and you don't have to do a whole lot of work to it if you cut it really close. And I like to cut things really close. I don't like to have a lot of waste. When I'm building a custom trailer for somebody, the more waste I have when I buy the material, the more it cuts into the margin on the build. And cutting into the margin on the build ain't no good. So now that piece will slide right in quite nicely. I might have it just a hair too long. There it goes. That's how it's going to fit. Except it's going to go up here at the 300 millimeter mark. So I got to figure out about where that's going to be and then go ahead and slide that in. That's going to be right about there. And the other good thing is this isn't critical. It doesn't have to be at exactly 300 millimeters. It just has to be back far enough for this cylinder to attach to it and have travel. So 300 millimeters is just an estimate, and I'm actually going to base where I put it on the length of this actuator. So I think I'm going to put it about there. I think I'm actually going to move it down in front of the spring pivot. Somewhere about in there. Yeah, I like that a lot better. Okay. Now, the next step in making the ramps, I need some of this stuff. I'm going to put this stuff aside for the moment. Get it out of the way. How many trailers do I have now? 3 built and a store bought. So I have 4. Three that I made. Yeah, Possum, this trailer is a good size. It'll haul. I got a video somewhere of it hauling 3 RC trucks. It's 10.5 wide, and the usable deck is 36 inches long, and then it's got a 10-inch dance floor up on the gooseneck. So overall, because I think they overlap a little bit. No, they don't. Yeah, they do. They overlap just a little bit. I got about 45 inches overall length. So, yeah, I got sidetracked making that cross member that I wanted to put in up there, but I wanted to get it in place because it has to be there to make these other measurements come out later. So it kind of has to be where it's going to live or close to it. And I never fasten anything down permanent until I figure out exactly where it's really going to live. Because sometimes when I'm laying stuff out like this, I might have to move something a half inch, 3/4, or a full inch, or sometimes more, or sometimes it won't go there where I thought at all. Sometimes I got to start completely over and relocate it somewhere else. So it just all depends on how it goes. But yeah. So the next part I'm going to build is going to be the ends. This piece here, the next part I'm going to cut rather, is the ends that'll make the rectangular shaped ramps actually come to life. Make them look like a rectangle instead of just a bunch of pieces of aluminum laying next to each other. Oh wait, I got the boat trailer too. Did I count that? I got this one, the boat trailer, the F450 trailer, the teardrop trailer that I'm building, and the store bought. So what's that, 5 or 6? Yeah, buddy. I've got material now too, Brandon, to make the mud flaps out of, the rubber mud flaps. I've got the material to do that now too. So this trailer is actually going to get mud flaps put on the back of it. Yeah, I guess it's 5, Brandon. It's this one, the boat trailer, the F-450 bed trailer, the store-bought trailer is 4, and the little teardrop for the 18th scale is 5. Well, when I come over there, I'll give you some of this. It's inner tubes, all it is, but I got a bunch of it. Got more than I'll use anytime soon. So, yeah, we're golden there. Possum, are you still here? I'll give you a little more background on this trailer and some of the other trailers and trucks that I have and build and use. You're still here. Okay. So this trailer, you've seen the back end sort of, and these are straight solid axles, but the wheels have their own bearings, so they'll spin for days. And they're on individual leaf spring suspension, so each axle will flex individually of each other, and it'll haul quite a bit of weight. And I've got more leaves that I can put in the springs to make them even stiffer if I needed to haul even more weight. So let me grab really quickly, let me grab the truck that this trailer hooks to. I'm gonna set this down and see if I got enough room to roll it back over there without hitting a bunch of stuff. There we go. My soldering iron and stuff's back there in the way. So let me get the truck that this goes to and show that to you real quick. This bad boy right here is made by Sen Racing USA, and it's a scale F450. Pull these body pins off so I can set the body down on it like it needs to. It's got a light bar on the roof right here, big LED light bar on the roof, and it's got ground effects lighting underneath that I turn on and off from the radio. Everything I do, I make it work from the radio. I never have to turn something on or off on the actual item or truck or whatever I'm using. So there's the F450. I don't know how this camera is going to pick it up too well, but there it is in all its glory. So it's a 4-door scale F450 truck, and it's actually scale. It's got carrier bearing right here in the middle for the rear and the front drive shafts on the rear end and everything. It's so long that it had to have a carrier bearing put in it and a long drive shaft. But this sits right on this gooseneck ball that I've got mounted in the frame, just like that. And then I can pull the trailer around. So there's the unit all put together. I know that doesn't show you very well. But and this trailer will haul 2 RC trucks sitting on their wheels, or it'll haul 3 with one with the front wheels up on the dance floor and then the other 2 kind of stacked up piggyback. It'll haul 3 that way. And I've got a video on here somewhere, a couple of them, of this truck pulling this trailer with 3 probably 10 to 15 pound RC crawlers on them. 10, 12 pounds. I don't know exactly what they weigh, but yeah, our crawlers are pretty heavy as far as RC trucks go. But this is my very first F450 that I ever got. And this is the very first trailer to pull that I ever built. I'm going to kind of give you a scale of it, if I can get it over here and flip it around. That's the trouble. Some of this stuff's so daggone big that it's hard to manipulate it very well. So this truck sitting on the trailer would sit like that, centered up, and the truck itself, bumper to bumper, yeah, they hurt when they hit you. Stem to stern's about 27 inches long on this truck, Possum. So there's this one. I have another one. It's about time to end this stream. That's why I'm doing a little show and tell here. I'm going to move this out of the way. Then I'm going to bring this one over, show this one off a little bit. This one I've done some custom suspension modifications to. A bunch of 3D printed parts, scale diamond plate lining in the bed. And as you can see, this truck is slammed right down to the ground. Let me get the body sitting on here where it belongs. What am I hitting on? There we go. So this truck is able to be lowered, slammed right down to the ground like that, where it's sitting right on its wheels just about. And I'll give you a quick demonstration because I do have a battery in this one. Oh, I didn't get my radio controller. So turn on the radio, and this is a pretty nice controller. I don't know what you know about RC cars, but this one will hold like 20 different models. I can put 20 different cars in it and control 20 different vehicles with this one radio. I'm going to go down here and select this truck. Where are we at here? Red F450. There we go. Now the controller is set to control this truck. So I'll plug in the battery. Turn it on. Set the body back on it. About like so. And like I said at the beginning of the live stream, my thing about my channel, MKRC Builds, is I like to make stuff move. You thought it'd be done more? The Pro holds either 250 or 300. Yeah, I don't remember, Brandon. I think this one only holds 20. I don't know. It might be 200. I don't know. I could be blowing smoke. But so Possum, what would you think about an RC truck that not only can you drive it, okay, but you can lower it to the ground, and then when you want it to be, you can raise it up from the ground. And I don't have the body fastened, of course, but I hear the servos whining, Brandon. I'll be glad to get them new servos put in this thing. Maybe I'll do that tomorrow. But, oh, it's the rear doing it. And the front. They both do it, front and rear. What do you think about that, Possum? That's this whole truck's purpose, is to just go up and down. That's its whole purpose. That's its whole purpose in life. Go up and down and look pretty. It's not set up for pulling anymore or doing anything like that. Jerk that battery out of there because I got to charge it. Yeah, this is one of the latest fads the guys are all doing with their F450s, is lowering them down, making them so they can go up and down. And there's several different ways to make it happen. Some use a cantilever lever suspension like this in the rear. Some do a cantilever suspension system underneath the bed so you don't have to cut the bed out, have all this stuff sticking up. There's different ways to do it, but I chose to go that route. And there you have it. So I'm going to continue working over the course of the next week on the ramps for my trailer, and we'll see where I'm at on them with next week's live stream. And those 4 servos right here, these servo motors, These are 35 kilogram servos, which means they do what, Brandon, 400 inch-pounds of lift torque. So they ought to be able to lift this chassis up without squealing. And the way this works, Possum, is I got a servo mounted here, and when I activate the servos, they lift up on the shock absorbers, which pivots the cantilever arm on this bracket. I'm going to reach in here and see if I can move that one. Yeah, I don't even have to reach in there. All I got to do is do it. So you see how that works? If you can see how these servo arms move, that's how it raises and lowers the rear suspension on the truck. And on the front, I just hooked the servos straight to the top of the front shock absorbers so that when the servos move, it pushes the shocks down, which in turn pushes down on the front differential housing, which raises the frame up or pulls the frame back down. So that's how it works. It's pretty simple, and it's not hard to build. A little bit hard to do the design and get everything fitting and working right, but once you get it figured out, putting it together is not too difficult. That's how that all works. So a little bit of building time on the ramps, showing the drawing artwork and the parts and the plan of how they're going to get made and the goal for what they should look like when they're done, and how they'll function with the actuator cylinder. Like a hydraulic ram will push a pivot pin on the bottom, and they'll be hinged across the top, across the center. So when you push the pin, it'll just pivot the ramps and tilt them up or tilt them down. It's a pretty simple concept, not much to it, but that's what that's going to be. And that's what that trailer is going to end up having. And I'll push a button on my remote to make that actuator work to raise and lower the ramps from my remote, much the same way that I made this truck go up and down from the remote. So yeah, that's kind of the deal. And I'll give you Possum, this is going to make you laugh. Now, you can see in the background a little bit, but let me turn the camera up there a little bit. So I got more and more RC cars all on these shelves here, right? Then if I go up a couple shelves, I got more and more RC cars. The green one, green and yellow one back there, you can't hardly see it. I got stacks and stacks and stacks of tires and wheels. And then if you go up even more, I got airplanes. I got airplanes up there too. And then, now, this is in the middle of my living room, okay? This is one side of my living room. So let me, I haven't seen Chris Hope chatting in a while, so I don't think he's still here. There's my ceiling fan in the middle of my living room. Look down there, Possum. I got RC cars everywhere. My whole living room is RC car stuff. All my toolboxes and my tools and my workbench and all the stuff I fool with is all right here. Right here in my living room. I guess that's the privilege of being a single guy. Looking for a drone. They're on another shelf in the bedroom. I didn't have room for them out here. But I will say, my Fat Shark goggles are right up there next to the airplanes. Brandon, my collection might be nice, but it's a drop in the bucket compared to yours. What are you up to now? 150 cars? I know it's got to be close. You also spend most of your spare time at your workbench. Yep. Yeah, except you're working on drones. $72. Oh yeah, you got rid of a couple. You got rid of that one drag car. I know you had like 77 or something at one point here recently, didn't you? I don't remember. You got so daggum many it ain't even funny. But anyway, that's pretty much gonna wrap up the live stream for tonight. So what I'm gonna do this week is I'm gonna take some of this stuff here, some of this stock, it's channel. I'm gonna cut it at 30 millimeters. Then this stuff here fits inside there just perfectly, like that. So I'll cut that at 30 millimeters long, and I'll put these in like so, and I'll have another 30 millimeter piece across the back, and then across the top I'll have that wire mesh fastened in, and that'll be the basic structure of my ramp. So there'll be two pieces, two rectangles just like this, that will get hinged on the back end of that trailer with a bell crank underneath it so that the cylinder can push it and tilt the ramps up and down. So it's really pretty simple. There's not much to it, and that's how it's going to come out. Yeah, you and me both have been building some lately. I'm about ready to start fitting a gearbox and motor in my FCX10. I finally put the other wheels on it. I sat it somewhere. Oh, it's back there in the back corner. But you're starting another build right now? Did you work on that vibration problem some more today? Did you figure that out today? Or are you over it? You know, if you had a laptop, you could go live with YouTube like this pretty easy. It's on the back burner? Okay. I really don't. Man, I am stumped. I slept on that problem last night, and I did not wake up with a solution this morning. And usually I wake up with a solution the next day. But we tried everything we could think of under the sun last night. You changed out the actual housing. I said take the wheels off. I said check the free play between the input shaft and the ring gear. I don't know what else it can be. Unless the axles, the ends of the axles inside the differential are getting cattywampus when it's moving forward, but they straighten out when it goes in reverse. So maybe that's the only other place there can be that can form a vibration if your bearings are all good and tight and everything. I don't know. Kind of got me befuzzled. But anyway, that's going to take care of this live stream. Awesome. I appreciate you stopping in and staying for the whole hour. I really do. Chris Hope, I don't know if you're still here. If you are, thank you for stopping in and staying for the whole hour. Oh, Bob's RC too. Yeah, thank you, man. Yes, they are phased. The drive line is tuned, and the vibration only happens when he goes forward at high speed. In reverse at high speed, it doesn't do it. I'm pretty sure he's got the driveline tuned. I didn't check it myself, but he knows what he's doing. He's been doing this a long time. But it does it only in forward. It doesn't do it in reverse. So if it was the drive shafts out of phase, it would do it in reverse too. It would cause the same vibration no matter which direction the drive shaft is rotating. But the drive shafts are good, and they're centered and fit right, and the axles are straight, and the bearings are all good. We couldn't figure it out last night. He even changed rear axle housings and swapped everything over to a different housing, thinking maybe he was getting a little bit of play in the yoke or something on the input shaft, but nope. So I don't know. We couldn't figure it out. Possum, thank you, buddy. I appreciate you coming. Come see us next week, same time, same place. We'll be here. God willing, and the creek don't rise. Bob, you've been so quiet this whole time. I forgot you were here, man. I know you said you were working on something, but anyway, I'm going to pull the plug on this and cut it off. And I appreciate everybody coming in, and the ones that did and the ones that stayed. And yeah. I appreciate y'all. See you next week.